contradicts the official evidence. It's just an amazing book, absolutely amazing. And another thing is that we've just had 2 men extradited to the European Union from Cove Castle. They are in a KGB-style prison in Budapest. They are being emotionally ill-treated. Their food is horrendous. A piece of pork fat and a thick piece of pork fat, no meat, and a piece of bread is their diet, apart from soup. They've lost 2 stone in about 2 months. The first appearance in court, the prosecution was there, and the prosecution lawyer. The 2 men weren't there, and neither was the defence lawyer.
That's corpus juris, I believe.
That is corpus juris, yes. And what they are suffering is absolutely horrendous. You can find them on the website. We've got a few of the DVDs here, not many, but there are a few. And what they are suffering is what we are all going to suffer. You can be picked up.
Well, Margaret, the easy thing is that we've now got the first court case happening where there is no jury. And that was in the national papers, and that is corpus juris. And we know that the plan is that juries are removed. And the reason you remove juries is because then you can do what you like in the courts, and that's what's coming.
So the European police can come at any time of the day or night, and under a mistaken identity, it can be you, any of us here can be taken back to the European Union, put in a KGB-style prison, and these men can be kept there for 3 years, not 28 days. They've been there for about 5 months now, and no charge has been laid against them.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
Well, these are all the things which need to come out, and it's interesting that the stuff is now, the knowledge is all coming out of you. I'd just add one thing. If you go down the trail of the banks, that Deutsche Bank is a very interesting bank, because Deutsche Bank is a big supporter of common purpose going into schools. And if you do your history on Deutsche Bank, you'll find there's a gentleman called Mr. Abbs involved with it. Mr. Abbs was connected with IG Farben Auschwitz, and then he remained with the bank till 1992. And if you then have a look at the BBC, which we know has been taking European Investment Bank money, you will find that when you complain to the BBC, of course you don't complain to the BBC because all the phones are answered by a company called Capita. When you go and do your research on where Capita hold their board meetings, you will find that it's in Deutsche Bank. But don't worry, because the port of Dover is being sold to the French and our airports have been sold to the Spanish. And they're all nice people, so we haven't got anything to worry about. I'm sorry I said that, I'll retract that statement. I think we've had enough. Let's be positive. You have to understand the enemy and his weapons, because if you don't understand that, you can't fight. Once we've done it, once we've understood it, you need to actually fight. We need to fight. And it's amazing what you can do once you start working with people in the right way. Forget the party political stuff, that's all labels. If you want to work in a party, do. Otherwise, just work with nice, ordinary people. And I think we're going to turn it round, and I think we're going to see some extraordinary sights this year.
Thanks, Brian. We did promise Simon a question.
Okay.
One last question.
Right, well, there were actually 2 parts to it.
Nothing tricky, because it's getting late.
Just one thing I was wanting to mention. In the newspapers today, it's reported that the chairman of Barclays was answering questions to the Common Select Committee about this challenge to depositors' money being used in the investment banking casino businesses. It's complete blind. The issue is not the cash. The issue is the capital. It's the capital that is meant to be protecting depositors' money that is being used to underwrite the leverage that goes into the investment banking business. And this is I just wanted to mention that because Obama's going after completely the wrong thing. It looks beautiful, it plays wonderfully in the press, and it won't make a jot of difference.
And I'm sure that's deliberate. Sorry, you've got a second part.
The other thing I just wanted to mention about Afghanistan and the heroin business. And I wondered if you had any comments you'd like to make about the involvement of the intelligence agencies in the global drug trade.
Well, from all the research I've done now, I am very happy. And it's an interesting thing, isn't it? David Shayler maybe people in this room have heard David Shaler speak, and I've been previously and heard him speak quite a long time ago, and Annie Machon talking about the security services. Now, David Shaler's sort of discredited at the moment because he's into dresses, but he said something which I thought was very interesting when he was still wearing trousers. And he said that far from protecting the British public need protecting from the security services. And as an ex-armed forces military person, I now believe that is absolutely correct. I have also been told, and this is getting sensitive stuff, so I just have to say by a source, that British military people in Afghanistan have been specifically told that they are not to damage poppy crops. Make of that what you like. And if I disappear tomorrow, you'll know everything I've told you is true.
I can actually corroborate what you just said. My nephew's been in Afghanistan, and that was the case.
Thank you very much. I like you.
I've got photographs.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you check your watches, you'll see it's nearly 11 o'clock. Graham just wants to say something quickly about the pooch, I think.
No, it's a small question, if I may, and I applaud what you're doing, and I think you're absolutely right that what they fear most is exposure, and by presenting the cases that you are on the various psychopathic groupings that you've uncovered, and the more you uncover, the more there are, the more you peel the layers off the onion. I wondered what the UK column view or your view was of how another psychopathic political entity, going through its actions, you could view it as such, fits into this, and that is the influence of Zionism on the global stage, on banking, on political lobbies, as you've mentioned, all of these influences, even through to the foundations of Marxism and communism. I wondered what your view was on that.
I think it's a subject that definitely requires research on an individual basis, because the moment you start to read well-written, deep research and historical papers on the subject, you will find that there is clearly a hand of Zionism at work, and that can be seen behind communism. I believe there's quite an interesting book called Behind Communism. It does, of course, raise some very delicate issues, and perhaps I can tell you how delicate it is, because 2 years ago the UK column produced an article which was entitled "From Israelites to Zionism." From Israelites to Zionism. And for anybody reading the article, and that would include anybody who was a member of the Jewish community or not, the article was actually pro-Jewish. Not necessarily pro-Zionist, but pro-Jewish. And one day, I had a visit from 2 police officers. And they were lady police officers, they were in plain clothes, and they came into the little office that we have, and they informed me that they'd had a complaint about that article. And I was very interested in this. And I asked who had made the complaint, and they ummed and ahed a bit, and then they mentioned an MP's name, which I won't repeat. And they said that basically the matter had gone as far as the Crown Prosecution Service. But the Crown Prosecution Service had decided not to prosecute, but rather felt that they should come and give me a warning. And so I said, well, that's very interesting, because it might be nice to know that somebody's made a complaint before it goes to the Crown Prosecution Service, but have you read the article? And the police lady said something remarkable. They said, no,